Achtung, Millwall.
Hello, 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 welcome listeners, welcome to Achtung, Grassroots. I'm here, I haven't been in Erith, Micahel Avery, sit next to me. I've not been in Erith since a lifetime ago, a different era, mate,
well,
1980s.
It was actually about 6 weeks, Nick, since you were from Belvedere, but for
No,
dramatic licence.
that was Welling.
Oh, right, okay,
that was Welling, that's a different beast to Erith. I have, in a different life, listeners, I've lived near Erith, but it's such a long time ago, and to come back round here now, it's both familiar and strange all at once. I'm sat with Michael in the, has it got a name this stadium? It's the Erith Leisure Centre,
It's just the Erith Stadium, I think, if you go on the SCEFL website, Erith Stadium, dear listener.
Erith Stadium, we're here for Erith Town versus Stansfeld, the Oxford Boys Club, I think I was reading on the Wikipedia, Michael, and it's a nice little setup here, mate. We've just been singing its praises, haven't we, you and me?
No, it is a nice setup. I've obviously, from listeners of this show, I've been down here a few times this season, so I know it relatively well. It's probably my local club, as the crow flies.
Yep.
So I come down here quite often. But no, it's nice to bring you down in it, because I always obviously say to you what these grounds are like. We obviously send the pictures over for tweets and social media and stuff. But now you're actually physically here. So it's got a little bit of that Italian club feel to it, because it's got the athletic track around it. But
yeah, continental feel. It's a leisure centre setup, listeners. I've been quite impressed with it, Michael, since I've got here, because there's a really nice bar upstairs. I've got a beer. I don't know what kind of quality of coverage you're going to get, listeners, because I've only one in already. I'm on my second bud, so I don't know how it's going to finish, but I suppose that's why you tune into this show. But yeah, it's a very pleasant afternoon. That helps. You were here for one show where it's pouring down, mate.
Yeah, I was, and I don't think truly I've ever recovered emotionally from the ordeal of horizontal rain hitting you in the face when you're actually under a roof. But no, it's a nice ground. It's got a nice community feel. People sort of seem to know each other. There's a lot of waving and hellos and all that kind of thing. And then, as you said, Nick, as well, on the way, it's actually quite welcoming.
Very welcome. Chaps on the gate, very pleasant. Chaps on the bar, lady behind the bar, very pleasant. And it's small things at this level. As I just said, I've not been to Erith since the Charles Dickens' era. But as I came out of the railway station, which was familiar to me, but the rest of the route I'd forgotten. It's really well signposted. You can't really miss it. That's a good sign in a club. The community supports its football club, doesn't it?
Yeah, of course. And if you have a look, for those who know the club, if you look at the advertisement boards here, just for example, the
Bedpost, familiar names.
Yeah, local shop nearby, and it's all very, very local, and it's got that nice community feel to it. The seats remind you of like the old Wembley.
Yeah, they're kind of basic seats, no back to them basically, but it's set into concrete on the side of the leisure centre. The rest of the ground's fairly open, so it's got the running track, Michael said that already. Teams are coming out. Erith and they're familiar, I now know, red and black stripes, AC Milan style, Mike.
That's probably the only thing close to AC Milan that you can say with Erith Town today, in all due respect.
Stansfeld in yellow and blue stripes, so the team's just going to get lined up for kick-off. We'll be back in a moment. We'll cover the kick-off and then any events of note as we go along. You've covered this team a few times, Mike. As you said, it's your local side. You do feel, when you cover these games, I always look for results. I look for Fisher's results, I look for Erith and Belvedere's results. I even look for Hornchurch's results, even though Harry would probably be climbing up the wall somewhere, across the river from here where we are. But yeah, you do feel like an interest in the sides, don't you?
Yeah, and also as well, it's quite interesting with this division. We'll touch on it later on in the show, but because of sort of the way these people are with, like, this obviously isn't their job, so some of them could be working on bank holiday weekends and things like that. Yeah. So it really is a case of anyone could beat anyone. I mean, I remember with Erith and Belvedere, they was absolutely flying, so you're following their result, and then they lose to Tunbridge Wells away, and Tunbridge Wells aren't one of the big hits.
No,
in this
it's just like a poor day out, for whatever reason.
But again, you don't know if behind the scenes, if Erith and Belvedere, their leading centre forward's got to work.
That's right. No.
So it's certainly interesting. Again, we'll touch on it soon. But you think the Championship's close, dear listener? I mean, it's close at the top of the table. But you look at this. There is not a lot of points separating these teams.
No, we'll have a look in at the league table in a moment. We're just two teams lined up for kick-off. The yellow and blue Stansfeld side will be kicking towards. Is that the Erith end? I suppose we're going to call that the Erith end. No, that's the Erith end. I think down there's a tower block which is by the river. Erith for kicking towards the tower block, listeners. Away we go. So I'm just looking at the league table, Michael. As you say, Erith and Belvedere are top of the table, some way ahead of almost 21 points, clear of Rusthall in second spot. Stansfeld sitting third, so they come in as a decent place side, but 31 points, so 22 points off of the top side. Erith Town, our home team in sixth place, 28 points.
I've got my little non-league.
Go on, you go for region. You've done a lot of prep, listeners. Very professional.
A lot of prep. In block capitals, in case I wanted to give it to Nick so he can read as well. So Erith Town currently top of SCEFL Premier League, 53 points and 21 points clear of second.
Yeah, that's the performance, isn't it?
Yeah, and considering, you know, last season I think
at any level, you know, I mean, you can joke about that.
And they're smashing teams as well, and they play good football as well. I mean, we saw them against Wellington.
They looked a good, decent footballing side at Erith and Belvedere.
Yeah, it's a good side. Wellington, who we've covered as well. And Canterbury City, who I covered last season against Erith and Belvedere, they're currently in the bottom two. The reason why I referred to them is because we always like to talk about teams that we look out for.
We do.
Fisher in 15th.
Yeah.
Are only 3 points clear of that drop, and they've struggled this season.
What's the drop from here? That will be down. There's a Division
SCEFL,
1.
SCEFL
There's a Division 1 of
SCEFL.
SCEFL.
Which, in the nicest possible way to the teams in that division, the difference in quality
is quite marked, I don't think.
Yeah. So you don't really want to be dropping into that division if you're in the SCEFL. Stansfeld and Fisher, they're both in the SCEFL Prem. Other South London teams of note, Bermondsey Town.
I've seen Bermondsey online, yeah.
And Lewisham Borough, they're in the bottom two of the SCEFL Division 1.
Are they?
Yeah, so they're struggling.
That's playing on the park after that, isn't it?
Yeah, Beckenham Town are currently away today at Sevenoaks Town. They're in the combined counties league.
The goal ball in from the right, from the two for Stansfeld, slammed home from close. That was a pretty simple goal, Mike.
Yeah. You can sort of blame the defending there. It wasn't,
well, there was no defending, was there?
That's half the reason why we were talking when they were taking the free kick, because there didn't seem to be that much danger over.
There shouldn't have been any danger whatsoever. That was a pretty straightforward cross in from the right to the left and slammed home close 2 minutes into the game.
One thing I will say as well, I think you can tell it was bad defending because, and again, as a referee, I don't agree with this anyway, but not a single person moaned at the ref, moaned at the linesman, moaned at the line.
They just accepted their lot.
They just accepted.
It's like the hanged man knows his game is up. Yeah. I mean, like you said, to drop out of this league is a big, fall from grace. I would imagine that getting promoted to the Isthmian League is a big step up. It's equally, isn't it? It's. I've seen Hornchurch last season, and I think they were Isthmian League, and the standard is noticeably higher at that point.
Yeah, I mean, I went to see
Fitness,
I went to see the VCD athletic game last year against Hastings, famously. I think it was the 3-0 when we had the ultras behind the goal.
That's right. You get all that.
Yeah, I was actually surprised with the level of the Isthmian in the nice possible way. Don't get me wrong, as we say with these shows, that's a good tackle.
Yeah.
Don't come to these games thinking that you're going to see the next Ronaldo or all these kind of players, but with the Isthmian League, it's very competitive. And if you've got a team last season in SCEFL like Sheppey, who was absolutely tearing up at this level, they're currently in mid-table in the Isthmian. So it shows
what can be done here. Talking about crowd size here, Michael. You said that you came to the game was 300 plus, was it? Was it 500 for one game?
Start the season against Phoenix on a Friday evening. I think it was about 325.
Yeah.
Which was good. And also last year, as those listeners know, we famously covered their FA Youth Cup game against Portsmouth. Yeah. And this is another thing you sort of know when you get to do the non-league games. And apologies for those who do non-league more than Nick and I. But if you actually want the bigger attendances, it tends to be these sort of like youth games or the under-23 games in the FA competitions.
With the pull of a big name, I suppose.
Yeah. And also you get a lot of people, for example, I know someone who used to play this level, and he said that he played in the FA Youth Cup, and about 20 of his family came down. So again, I know it's family and friends, but you could have 400, 500
But if you can put 20 people on the game, I mean, it's about 100 plus, I'd say. And it's quite difficult to where we're sitting. We're looking back across the main stand. There's a good number of seats here. I mean, yes, they're very basic seats set on a concrete base, but I'd say about 100 plus here, maybe 120, I don't know.
Yeah. Which isn't bad for tier 5.
Well, the spending in the bar, everyone seems to have a bit. This is my second listener, so if I start slurring, then Michael did it.
we always famously say it, we don't condone getting absolutely shit-faced at football, but we are 3 rows from the pitch and we've got a beer in our hand.
Absolutely. I mean, I was saying earlier on to Michael, I went to Clapton last year, this is the official Clapton as against the community Clapton, which is a different beast entirely. But they're playing out of the Newham Leisure Centre. Similar kind of feel to this. There's a little pressful for Erith here, nothing there. Similar kind of leisure centre set up, running track, pitch in the middle. But the big difference there was no bar. And whether you're drinking or not, Michael, the bar is the focus. The bar is where you're making money. That's where the club lies, doesn't it?
Because even if even if you're not drinking, you've got kids with you, they want to drink. They'll want some.
Well, you can't always drink. I mean, listeners, you can't always drink. Sometimes you've got to drive your car.
As much as you might want to.
I've come down by the Elizabeth line. Thank you, government, for building that. That's been made this trip dead easy. But yeah, I mean, you could have driven it today, but the bar gives you a focal point, and it's a money-making machine as well. When these clubs, as we've said earlier on, Michael, exist on next to nothing, fresh air half the time. Money-wise, they're always struggling, aren't they?
Yeah, what people need to remember as well is that all these big clubs get hit, like the professional clubs, because of COVID and all these other things. But where let's call it as it is, without trying to get too political, things like cost of living crisis.
Yeah.
But no, going back to it, with cost of living and prices going up and everything like that, sponsors may not be able to invest in, looking at them now just in front of us, a company like the Bedpost.
Yeah, local firm.
They could be Erith's biggest sponsor over the last few years, but they're hit by costs they can't deal with and they can't invest anymore.
I think I bought my first marital bed out of the Bedpost. They've done me proud.
I don't doubt that.
I might cut that. Oh dear, that's one of the bit buds in, listeners. That's one of the.
That's what happens when you have 2 pints. You find out about Nick's love life.
Bit of history for you, listeners. I know you tune into this show for a bit of history, a history lecture from me. Stansfeld, not field. Stansfeld is part of the Oxford and Bermondsey Boys Club, which was set up in 1897 by one John Stansfeld. And who was John Stansfeld? He was an Anglican priest, a doctor and a philanthropist who set up the Oxford Mission to Bermondsey.
Sounds like you, Nick.
My family did not have such well-connected antecedents, unfortunately. But he set up it's a boys' club set up in the depths of a Victorian London when Bermondsey was not the property hotspot that you see today. Younger kids, it was pretty grim place to be, but he was a priest, a Christian missionary, for want of a better way, and he set up the boys' club to provide for exercise for the kids of Bermondsey. Hence the stands where they play out of Chislehurst now, Michael, Glebe.
Yeah, Glebe's ground, yeah. I think they do a little ground share. Originally from the sort of Turbridge Road area, I believe.
Yeah.
Not too far from Manze's, I think it used to be.
I think you're probably right. 1897. So now they're playing at Foxbury Avenue, which used to be where I went to school. Got to school. It's quite strange being so intimately connected to all these places in South East London, not living anywhere near it anymore. It's kind of an odd feeling. I come back to the familiar places with a stranger's eye, listeners.
But also this club here, also Erith Town's got a nice bit of history too. I mean, looking at the badge now, 1959.
59.
So a lot of these teams here, dear listeners, as we said, I think weren't Erith and Belvedere when we were there early season celebrating 100 years as well?
They were.
Something similar to that. So you've got a lot of clubs, a lot of history in these places.
Erith was established in 1959 as a Sunday League side, Michael. Played through the local leagues, Kent Leagues, London Metropolitan Sunday Leagues, Spartan League, until eventually the Kent League, and then on to this Southern Counties Eastern League, is it?
Yeah.
SCEFL. Ball forwards, a little chance here for Erith. A clash over there. Looks like 2 have gone down hurt. The 10 for Erith, who is Harry Taylor. I'm sitting right in front of the team sheet, so I've got no excuse not to know who it is.
Just for the listeners there, basically a ball was played over the top to the 10. It was the 10, wasn't it? He stinked it over the goalkeeper, and the keeper looks like he's just outside the box.
He did a Schumacher on him.
He was completely taken out there. Luckily for the goalkeeper, I think he had about 3 players behind him, so I'll be very surprised if it's a red card.
Goalkeeper's as hurt as the other guy.
Here's a question.
Go on.
As we are the VAR, isn't it? Do you think that's worthy of a red card?
Well, it's wide right. It's not a goal scoring chance because he's wide right. He's certainly taken the man. without any thought for the ball. It was dangerous, so I would say yes.
I mean, the ball was.
Would you give it as a red? In real life?
I think it's one of those, if I'm being brutally honest, you'd probably see it on the laws of the game courses and go, what would you give here? And they'd want you to say red. But when you've got loads of people screaming and shouting at you, would you just give a yellow just to show you're doing
it? It changes the game completely if you do.
You're sending off goalkeeper.
I thought it was a dangerous challenge. He's give a red. He's give a red, send him off.
So there we are. Yeah.
I thought he would.
He's passed the laws of the game.
I don't like to brag, listeners, but I've been around the game for a long time, you know. I know my rules. It was a dangerous challenge, in fairness, Mike.
I'll be brutally honest with you.
16 minutes in, that's going to change the game, as we just said.
I'm trying. It sounds like I'm backtracking a bit. I think it was a red.
Get off the fence.
But yeah, sorry. I think it was a red. But would you have been surprised if a yellow was given?
I think I would, because you've either got to give a red or nothing. You've either got to have a quiet word or you've got to give a red there, because it was high and it was dangerous. The man was clearly hurt, and it could have been a lot worse. So,
but this goes to show the life of a referee, because it's a decision that is a red card. As I said, on the laws of the game course, if they showed that, they'd expect you to do a red. Yeah. But you've got all of Stansfeld now surrounding the referee saying he's got it wrong. People in the stands saying to Lolino they've got it wrong.
Yep.
How can you referee, you know, if or not?
Goalkeeper's gone. I don't know who they got on the bench. This will change it, won't it? This is a big opportunity for Erith.
It's huge.
Do they have a substitute goalkeeper? I don't know.
Well, he's not very happy. Oh no, it looks like they're putting an outfielder in there. The yellow
no, he's got the right arm. He's just kicked the ball out of the ground there, down towards the Erith railway station where I've just come from.
It's going to, for the people who know the area, it's going to probably hit the fish on the fish roundabout.
He's taking his shot and he wants to hit someone, doesn't he? But if you take... is it the back of the...
Now he's kicking stuff.
Where's he walking to?
He's broke the dugout.
He's gone for a walk. This is the kind of drama you get at local football.
Second panel from the left, here, listener. Their actual Stansfeld is trying to hold it back up.
He's busted the dugout.
Go. You get your £8 worth here, don't you, Nick? Oh, it is a penalty. It was inside the box. The game's still taking place.
No, I'm watching a goalkeeper. He's got the right arm, listeners.
Now he's arguing with the Erith subs.
He wants to have an argument with the subs. He wants to hit somebody. He's already smashed up the team dugout on the other side. We've got an outfield player in goal.
Who's now testing?
He's just picked up the ball to find out that is a football and there's a penalty. This is all go, listeners. We've got 18 minutes gone.
And the man who I said to watch out for, to Nick,
goal.
Start the game, Stedman Calendar, is taking the...
yeah, he's the top scorer, I believe, Michael.
Yeah, quite comfortably as well.
Here we go. One each.
And I'll tell you what as well, I think this will be interesting in the crowd as well, because they're getting quite vocal back here.
Goalkeeper's prowling over there, no shirt on. It's a cold day.
Yeah.
Pure rage is keeping him warm over there. This is wonderful stuff, listeners. This is why you tune in Achtung Grassroots.
Because it was so far wide, I didn't know it was.
He's getting on. I'll kiss him.
What?
I'll get him getting on the fence.
Yeah.
Off the fence.
But I didn't, because it was so far right. I didn't see where it was. But if it was in the box, yeah, 100% correct decision.
Sending off on a penalty, one each, listeners. 19 minutes gone. I'll keep you informed of the goalkeeper later. I think the torrents have opened there, listeners. It's now 2-0 to 2-1 to Erith Town. Decent shot from the edge of the penalty. That curled in on the right post there, Michael, didn't it?
Yeah, it was a good finish.
In the 22nd
I'm not sure how happy the goalkeeper is, because he's now taking his
goalkeeper is very suspect, mate. The other one's disappeared now. He's wandered off.
I think he's going to probably smash someone's ass up.
He's gone to a local Erith pub, listeners. He's going to sink a few, and he's going to find someone to have a row with.
Yeah, the running horses round the corner. Yeah.
The very worst pubs of Erith. I don't know them anymore, but Michael does. 2-1.
But no, just quickly going back to the goal, so the player picks it up on the left-hand side. I didn't see his number, who it was who had the shot, unfortunately, but picks it up on the left-hand side.
This guy here, isn't it? Short. I'm saying this guy here, listeners, you can't see who I'm pointing at. It's not the 10 turnaround, it's the 15. 15? It is Jamie Humphries, I think.
Yeah, so we'll go with that. So he cuts in on the left-hand side, looks up, right foot there for a great angle from where we are, and he just places it right on the top.
It was a nicely put. I think it would have tested the other goalkeeper. You know, it would have tested any goalkeeper. It was a decent shot.
To be brutally honest with you, I think from the way it was saying, it was savable, but like you say, because that's a standing keeper, it's in. But even then, like you say, it's one of those that even I think a proper first-time goalkeeper will probably push round the post. It would have been an easy save. It was a good effort.
I'm trying to think, listeners, the last time I saw an outfield player go in goal, because obviously the modern era, you replace your goalkeeper with a goalkeeper off the bench in professional
Unless
games.
Unless Warnock, because he never used to put
no, he didn't. I'm just trying to think. I've seen in my life, I have seen in the 70s, Dave Donaldson going goal a long while ago for Millwall. Not many times, because obviously it would have taken an injury to a goalkeeper, and we never seemed to get that very often. We're good goalkeepers.
So it is a question.
In the Dennis Wise era, didn't someone go in goal then?
I think you're right, actually.
Oh, mate, this is going to be one for the listeners. Oh, there's another chance in front of goal. It's going to be it should be a goal torrent looking at their goalkeeper at the moment. He's just about clinging on for grim death, the replacement
goalkeeper. Here's a question to ponder, dear listener. Why, and I'll ask you as well, Nick, considering like how many players you... Oh, hang on.
Always a little back heel, cheeky. A square wide in the event. Nice idea, though.
For you. So how many games do you play in the World Cup, roughly? So 3 group stages.
To get to the final.
3, 7, 8.
Group stages, then there's a round of 16, quarter final, semi, 6, 7.
Why are you taking 3 goalkeepers?
Illness can strike, can't it?
It can, but then why? Why doesn't professional teams have 10 goalkeepers in their squad?
No, because the reason I would logically if you've got 3 goalkeepers in a 25-man squad, is it, for a World Cup?
Yeah.
26. If one of them gets ill, you want a goalkeeper and a spare, one on the bench. Another incident there, the 10's gone down. Clutching his feet, it's getting a bit naughty out there.
Well, just there as we were talking about goalkeepers, the 10's gone down. He's been clipped by a defender. In truth, I didn't see that much in it, really.
He would want some retribution, I think.
Or the way Stansfeld are behaving, but they're all shouting and screaming for real disciplinary action. The referee just seems to be, just seems to be a talking to more than anything.
He seems like Mr. Calm, that referee.
Yeah. I think as well, going back to the local roots, I do believe Stansfeld looks like they're sponsored by Albins. I'm sure they are.
Could be. It's certainly entertaining, listeners, not necessarily in a footballing sense, so in a brawl sense.
See again the joys of refereeing. We're watching this game here, and I'm a little bit like, I didn't see too much in it, but again, people screaming behind her, shouting for him to be booked. So.
Does it sway your crowd noise? Does it sway your decision making?
In truth, I don't think it's... That doesn't look like 10 yards, does it?
It's not a confession box here, by the way. You know.
No.
You can say pass.
I'll be honest with you. I think in truth it doesn't sway your decision, but you know you're not going to be popular.
In comes a free kick from the left. Bouncing around in the Erith penalty area, the goalkeeper takes. Oh, when he gets barged. That's another. That's got to be a.
That's got to be a yellow card.
A yellow. Goalkeeper has gone down, rolling around. He's got a yellow out there, Mike.
I don't know if you just described it.
Stansfeld losing the plot.
Yeah, basically the goalkeeper's caught it quite routine, wouldn't you say? Routine. And as he's
in the mush. He's nutted him, basically.
Yeah, basically the centre forward's run up and smashed him right in the face.
This could finish quite long.
You got your boots, Nick. We could end up playing.
We're only 26 minutes in. We've got a sending off.
This could be another red card.
The referee's nutted him.
The referee's going up to the linesman. Tell me what to do so they can blame you for
There's a female referee, a lines person, and a ref. I think it should be a red.
It's got to be. I mean,
a yellow card is not a nut, is it? I mean,
there's no reason.
It's an assault.
There is no reason to make.
If you did that in the the goalkeeper in the running horses, where he's like, there, you'd be nicked. So yellow, bottled it. He's bottled it. He didn't want to send him off there. Lucky boy.
Going back to what you were saying about with referee decisions, Nick, I wouldn't say a crowd or people shouting would influence you decision-wise or with cards, but I think you'd have to have a thick skin and go, right, I know I'm going to get pelters here. Do you see what I mean? You can't. I mean, I did a game once where I won't say the two teams. They're good teams, but I won't say them. For the sake of GDPR. But basically, a guy's running through on goal. He's cut across a defender. The defender's caught him. He's gone down in boxes penalty. I've got 22 geezers screaming at me to send him off, and I've got 22 geezers screaming.
11.
Luckily for me, from my interpretation, it wasn't a dog zone. There was another defender, so it was a yellow card.
Yeah.
But again, this is the unfortunate lives of referees. Yeah. One single decision or one single incident can be interpreted completely different depending on what team you are supporting or playing for. But it comes with
Also,
the territory.
I mean, I think he should have sent him off there. But the effect of sending him off there takes him down to 9 men. Yeah. You're then into fast mode, aren't you? You're not far short of having minimum number of people.
Literally, till about the moment, if you're literally in the town of Erith Town, then being about 8-1 up at half time.
Newsworthy in a non-league paper, that's for sure. Yeah. Standing goalkeeper just made a really remarkably good save there, listeners, on 34.5 minutes. Nice move.
Not sure he knew much about it, to be fair. But,
he got it over the bar. That's good enough for Bart Bielkowski. It's good enough for me.
There you go. But Stedman Calendar is a player I've mentioned a few times today, and in the past he's a real talent at this level. He really sat on the shoulder of the last defender really nicely, beat the offside trap, run down the left-hand side, cut it back across for the 10 to have the shot. And again, first time, I thought it was going in. It
was on target. It was on with power. And the standing goalkeeper batted it over the bar. I think it's the number 2 for Stansfeld, Joe Borland. I think it's him. I could be wrong. In comes the right. He's batted that away nicely, Michael.
Something's happened. No.
He's gone down. Someone's little kerfuffle. The referee's got a game on his hands here, I'll tell you that much.
Think the ref's controlling the game well?
I think he's doing his very best. But it ain't easy.
But now we've got the Stansfeld standing goalkeeper on the floor holding his head, and the Stansfeld, I would say the bench, but half the bench has been broke. So
the goalkeeper's disappeared. I don't know where he's gone. He walked off with no shirt on. I don't know where he's gone. He's somewhere in Erith, loose.
But there's a blue light going towards where he was walking. So
if you see...
We're not making any assumptions.
But this will go out tomorrow, so hopefully it'll all be resolved by then. But you do see, if you live in Erith and you see like a bare-chested man ranting around Erith, it's the goalkeeper from Stansfeld, Charlie Cottrell. Big shout out to Charlie. I feel your pain, mate. You did clatter him, though.
Unlucky chance.
You did clatter him. Standout player for Erith Town for me, Michael, is the name you've mentioned a couple of times, number 9, Stedman Calendar. He just made a little run there. It was actually quite an intelligent run leftwards, it stands out because at this level you don't see that very often, and he's got the X factor, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's
top scorer. You said
top scorer. I think. I mean, let me get me a little bit of paper out. I'll rustle it.
Michael's prep. Let's have a look. If it says top scorer on Michael's bit of paper, he is. There, 12 goals.
12 goals. Well, 13 now after the penalty. He nearly got an assist for the other goal. And he's fine. And the thing is as well, with the red card, it doesn't seem to have affected the back line too much because you've got the sort of 4 and the holding midfielder. But he always seems to find space. Look at him now, the way he's moving. Look, he's gone now.
Yeah, he's intelligent.
And that defender looks about 15 and pacey, but even he can't keep up with him.
No. He's got the touch.
He always seems to float around between that centre back and the wide man. If you see what I mean. See, look there.
Yeah.
He's finding it.
Stedman Calendar, listeners, so keep that name in mind. So you might see it around the football scene. We're coming towards 41 minutes. Game's calmed down a lot, Mike, and after that bit of unseemliness earlier on.
Well, I
just
saw you chuckle off microphone at someone who commented on the game. I didn't exactly hear what he was saying. The word shit came out.
Wanker was the other word.
Wanker. He might not be a fan of the podcast.
Certainly Stansfeld are up against it, 10 men. The standing goalkeeper's done a few good little saves. But really, Erith Town will be unhappy if they don't add to the goal tally. So 41 minutes, we're looking at half-time. The light is dropping now. It was a beautiful afternoon, sunny afternoon earlier on. But we're going to need the floodlights on soon. So maybe we'll go to the bar at half-time, tell them to put the floodlights on because it's going to get very dark soon. There's a half-time whistle. It's 2-1 to Erith Town. A lot of drama now, Michael. I mean, football-wise, it calmed down a lot after the near sending off, the second sending off that should have been, that wasn't. After that, it's really been pretty, uneventful, really, but entertaining stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And like you've said it before, and we've said on other shows, you're not going to see the best players in the world down here. Let's be very honest. But look, one thing I always say about non-league football, Nick, and I don't know if you agree with me, no matter what they've got to, that you've got that sort of passion, ain't you?
You do.
Like the keeper's been sent off there for whatever reason. Half-time's gone. The captain, and even now, I don't know if he's the manager of Stansfeld or the coaching staff or whatever. But there's a Stansfeld representative there walking on backwards, talking to the referee. Yeah. And again, I don't condone people going up to referees and giving them abuse and all that. Don't get me wrong, but they're passionate.
They're passionate. I genuinely don't know. I mean, the referee, I take my hat off to. He's had a very difficult half. I don't know how it would fit in with your experience of refereeing, but at this level and so on. The decision to send the man off, I thought, sitting
Brave,
here.
I think.
Well, it was both brave and it was the right decision.
Yeah. The reason why I
he
say
should have sent the other guy off, but I think
Yeah.
he employed a bit of political thinking there.
I think the reason why I say it was brave Nick, was because obviously people listening to the show ain't here seeing it.
No.
But there's about 4 or 5 people around him.
Yeah.
Like before he gave the card. So he could
and these look like blokes that you might find in a pub somewhere, you know, that want to have it. And you know, I know there's rules of the game and there's codes of behaviour, but in the moment that goes out the window, doesn't it?
Yeah, and that's why I say it was a brave decision, because you like I've been in situations before, or you hear of referees where sometimes, like you say, they not be influenced, but they might think, I might not send him off because he might give me an easier life or an easier job. But he's stuck to his guns, stuck to, look, this is what's happened. And
Yeah.
fair
The goalkeeper, if he sees it in a cold light, he probably won't see it in a cold light of day. And he may, for reasons that beat me, he seems to feel aggrieved because he's actually taken a man out with a dangerous challenge.
Yeah.
Within the penalty area.
Yeah.
What does he think might happen? Maybe he'll think that tomorrow morning when he gets back to work. I don't know.
And that sort of, again, sounds like I'm backtracking. One of the reasons why I said maybe it might have been a yellow card, because from where we're sat, that is a long way away. I didn't know it was in the penalty area, but as soon as the ball's on a penalty spot and you knew it was in the area, yeah, I think the referee's got it right, in truth. Don't think there'll be many Stansfeld fans who like this podcast. We'll probably turn off shortly. But it's been...
we're upsetting the Bermondsey OBG, so that's probably not the best move in the world, but there we are.
I'll be brutally honest with you, like you say, there's been some good football. You do get some players down at this level, like again, we sound like right fanboys, but you get that Stedman Calendar. He's moving around like a player who's too good for this level. Defensively, Erith,
he could certainly step up a level.
He could certainly step up.
And maybe from there see where he goes.
Yeah, and with Erith Town as well, they apart from that one mistake they had at the back earlier on, which we chuckled at, they didn't really do a lot. They've not really been too troubled by anything there. And one thing I do like about Erith Town is, from when you speak to Adam Wood with the manager and you see him on social media, they like to promote young upcoming talents. So, you know, that might be another reason why when you see some of these players you think, well, they might misplace a pass or they put a shot wide, etc. But these are young kids who are trying to get into the game, and Erith Town do it the right way. People come to watch these games.
Yeah, I can imagine, yeah. Michael, we're in the bar, listeners, you can probably tell that from the background noise, but this is a very the trusting nature of non-league football. We've just got 2 beers in, haven't we?
Yeah.
There's a problem with the cash point here, so basically taking my name and I'll come back later and pay him.
Yeah, it's just a shame you give the name Dave.
Would you do that down and then?
You probably will.
There's 2 beers, sir. Your name is Harther. Will you come back later and pay us when the connection's on?
The way Mill is at the moment, they'd probably have someone hold the paper and then someone else hold the pen.
Floodlights are on outside. It was half time, as you can probably gather. We're in the bar. The bar's got a bit of a leisure centre feel, isn't it? I mean, this is like a room at a leisure centre. It could do with a bit of Erith Towning, I suppose, but good beer. There's a good crowd in here, a couple of hundred people, I suppose, tops.
Yeah, one thing I will say as well, dear listener, and again, we don't condone getting shit-faced at football, but our 2 pints is considerably cheaper than 1 pint at the den.
£6, and I will come back and pay him later on, listeners. I'm 3 pints in, so I generally try to avoid, I eschew alcohol when I do these podcasts, so I don't know what you're going to hear in the second half, listeners, but we will be back in due course.
For those who listen to this show, when we was at Erith and Belvedere, there was a singer after the game.
Yeah, nothing like that here.
The way Nick's drinking, he'll be the singer.
Bermondsey's answer to Frank Sinatra. Michael and I back out. The floodlights are on, listeners. It's getting cold. Red sky at night is shepherd's delight, I think, but we're starting to see a little bit of a red glow in the sky across the river there. This is my 3rd pint, listeners. Jesus Christ.
I'm sure you paid for this.
There's some people will be calling me a lightweight out there. Teams are out. Erith Town will be attacking the nondescript end down there. I don't know what that is. And Stansfeld will be attacking the... I'm going to call that the Erith end. There's a tower block right by the river over there. I remember that from the olden days. Away we go. 2-1 at the moment to Erith Town. Entertaining first half. Can the second half match the entertainment factor of the first, Michael?
I'm going through my little notes,
I'll get your notes out. If it's got anything to do with entertainment factors, go for it, mate.
Yeah, so no, just quickly looking here. this is where, again, it just shows how interesting this division is. Erith Town, they're currently 6th. I mean, I think the way the results go today, they might go higher, and if this stays as it is. But their last 5, they've lost against Erith and Belvedere away. That was on Boxing Day.
Yep.
They won 4-0 away at Whitstable. They lost 2-0 away at Erith and Belvedere, which was the game we covered for this show.
Yep.
No, at home, sorry, that was the game we covered when we was waterlogged, basically.
Right.
They lost 1-0 away to Punjab United in the SCEFL Cup, and then won 5-0 away at Lawsford. So you always get a lot of goals when you come watch Erith Town. That's the one thing you can sort of half guarantee for or against, and this goes to show it. They're freezing this already. Stansfeld, they drew 1-1 with Holmesdale. They lost 2-0 at home to Erith and Belvedere. This is a big result, and again, what I said to Nick, anyone can beat anyone, and surprising results. They beat Glebe 5-0, and Glebe last year were one of the favourites.
They were quite a hot side.
Yeah, I think they finished.
Was that who's Dave Martin playing for? Was that?
No, he's at Phoenix now. He
was Jamie Philpotts at Glebe.
Yeah, he's at Glebe.
Ex-Millwall.
Stansfeld won away at Deal Town 3-2, and they won away at Tunbridge Wells. When it comes to goals, Stansfeld have only scored before today. They'd only scored 27 goals compared to Erith Town's 34, but the goals against is where it all is at the moment, really, because Stansfeld had only conceded 19, Erith had only conceded 20. But it's weird with those stats that Stansfeld are higher in the division, but as we said, how close it is at the top. Erith in 6th went into this game on 28 points. Stansfeld in 3rd, 3 places above, went in at 31, so it's only 3 points.
Yeah.
So
it's a tight
so
league
with
one runaway side.
And like we said earlier on, apart from the one runaway side, SCEFL Prem currently is just 9 points separating Rustle in 2nd and Lordswood in 11th. And there's only 8 points between Glebe in 10th and bottom of the table. So you'll have a side like Glebe, they go on a little bit of a bad run, they can find themselves right in it, as they say. But that's my notes over.
Michael's notes.
Dressing gown wearing Stato from fantasy football back in the day.
No, it's good stuff. I mean, the purpose of these shows, listeners, we've said it many, many times across the season, from the heat of August now to the cold of January 2023. It's to form a kind of an advert, I suppose. What can you expect by going to a non-league game at this level? I find it quite relaxing. It's been entertaining. You can have a beer, you can sit and talk. It's friendly.
Yeah, and you come as a semi-neutral with no real.
You're not invested in it. No, you can watch a game. I mean, as we've said a few times, you won't see brilliant play, but you will see moments where someone does something really good, and it'll stand out. So this, if you're in the Erith area, this is the purpose of this show. I'd recommend coming along here. It's a pretty nice little setup here, Mike.
And what I like to, I remember saying it last year with the Erith and Belvedere and Erith Town game. It might have been that one, it might be. It was definitely Erith and Belvedere when we were together. But what I like about these games is everywhere's so different. Like all the grounds are so different.
Yeah, it is. I mean, we were talking about Fisher. That is basically a pitch with a fence around it, and there's a small clubhouse. Yeah. Nice clubhouse, doing nice beer, but it's not. There's not. Literally, once you get past the pitch, you're at the fence, and that's about the environs of the ground. Yeah. This is quite a wide open, spacey kind of feel here, isn't it? With a track and the. You're not enclosed in any way, shape or form. Nice, decent sized stand.
But then you've got, like I said, then you've got Erith and Belvedere Park Welling. They've got a nice
proper ground.
Lovely proper ground. So you've got Phoenix. Have you been to Phoenix Sports, Nick?
No. That's another one on my list.
Phoenix Sports is really nice.
I might wait for it to be a bit warmer.
They've got a lovely little bar area, again, they've got a nice bar area, but they've got a stand as well, and because I ran the line there earlier in the season, their sort of change rooms are like a cricket.
They're near VCDs, aren't they?
Not too far, not a couple of miles away, but even VCD is another similar one. I personally think VCD is probably one of the nicer grounds in the area, because when you walk through the turnstile of VCD, you then walk down quite a long ramp towards the pitch, but you've got that beautiful. It's gone in!
That's a great goal. That's a great goal. Shot from distance on the left side. That's 3-1 there for Erith Town. Let's get my phone out of the phone. 5 minutes into the second half, so 50 minutes. Beautiful goal.
Yeah, he took it nicely. He had a lot of space outside the box. He had a touch, looked up, really nicely placed.
Avery Taylor, number 10.
And it was a good finish as well. The thing is, when you get further down the pyramid, you do get a bit more sort of hit and hope stuff. But that was a really nice place.
And don't forget the goalkeepers are standing. I mean,
I
think a decent goalkeeper would struggle with that shot because it was a decent shot, but he got found out there, if you like. I think the thing is, if you're looking for a beer on a Saturday afternoon, I can't think of many places I'd rather be, to be honest. You've got a game in front of you, you can sit and... The beer is cheaper. We've paid, what, £3 each for a can of, a pint of Budweiser. It's cold, it's good.
You think of it, just quickly on that topic, £8 to get in. I've bought a drink, you bought a drink. So that'll be, if we settle like this, I don't think Nick will the way he's going, but if we settle at this amount... I
should be crawling back to Erith Town the way I'm going.
But at the moment it's cost you £14.
Yeah, which is...
You think of it like that?
Yeah, that's the way to look at it. So I recommend it. I mean, also there's another thing, how can I put this, New Year's resolution style-y. If you don't support these places, you don't support things, whether you like football, whether you like cricket, rugby, whatever you're talking about, if you don't support it and go and spend some money there, it dies. We were talking off air earlier on, Michael, about the financial troubles of clubs like Erith Town, lockdown, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
If you don't go, don't pay it, then it's not there, and you lose something. There's something really valuable about this.
And divisions.
You'd have to put in there the 2 for Erith, the 10 for Stansfield's rolling around, Harry Day's rolling around on the ground. That's a yellow card.
I would say that was more.
I think these blokes behind us want to see another red, don't they?
Well, they're obviously Stansfield fans who want the numbers even down. We're in a bit of a moment of another moment of conflict here. Basically, well, you just heard there, dear listener. Stansfield does a foul on the edge of the box. They're absolutely adamant it's a penalty. The way they're screaming and shouting, and the way they're still surrounding the referee, they're pointing at where he went down. They're pointing on the ground, calling over to the lino. But they're adamant it's a penalty. The referee has given a free kick right on the edge. The wall's about to be marked out. We'll stay with this. The 8 is standing over the ball for Stansfield, so Ross Morley is standing over the ball. Will he take it, or will it be a left foot by the other champ? Is it? Oh, and it's deflected off the wall and gone in. 3-2 to Stansfield. They collect the ball and they're running back towards the centre circle. Not many people saying it's a penalty now. It's gone in, so it doesn't matter. But this is an interesting one, listener, where normally you have that player laying down behind the wall. The wall's jumped, it's clipped the bottom of the boot and deflected into the bottom corner. So you just heard there, Ross Morley has scored it. Stansfield back in the game now to make it 3-2. I will add, I'm currently on the microphone because Mr. Hart needs to check the facilities of the gents' toilets. I've not got a little bit more high pitched than Nick. Just a shame. It's just the classic. It's the classic toilet goal.
I missed the goal, listeners. I'm back. This always happens if I'm watching the telly. Yeah. If I leave the room, a goal will happen. It's an iron rule of football.
I said it was a classic toilet goal. I remember once somebody telling me they went to a Millwall game once. It was 3-1. They didn't see a goal because they arrived like 2 minutes late or something, and then both times they went to the toilet, we scored.
Oh dear, oh dear. There we are. 3-2. I understand now. We're 3, Stansfeld 2. We're about halfway through the second half. Darkness has descended. It's getting quite cold now.
There is a chill.
There is a chill in the air. The game has become fairly so-so, to be frank. 3-2.
I think the fitness has come into it a bit now. Everyone's a little bit knackered.
It's been a hard afternoon. It's been an enjoyable afternoon. Like I said earlier on, I would recommend this as an afternoon, Saturday afternoon generally pursuit. Certainly the social aspect of it here is pretty good, Mike. I mean, the bar is selling your beer. It's pretty good up there, so I recommend it.
Yeah, like I was saying to Nick as well when we weren't recording earlier on. You tend to go to these games, and where you sort of go to semi-regular ones, or if you stay local, you sort of get to know people. We had it Erith and Belvedere where we sort of the director asked how the pod was going. You know, the chairman here we know relatively well as well. With my refereeing hat on, the referee who's reffing today is in one of the group chats that I'm in.
I think he's had a really tough job on his hands. He's done a good job out there today. I've not really seen anything that he's done where I'd say the referee's made an error there.
I was going to say, I think with his decision making has been absolutely spot on.
Yeah.
I don't think he's missed anything. And also, let's give full credit to these assistant officials as well. They've had good games as well. It's quite easy.
Lady running a line in front of us here as well,
Yeah.
which is, you know, still an unusual sight at football.
Well, what I like about the game as well is that he's not lost it, like you've not had, even though you've had a few, like you've obviously had the red card and you've had a little bit of archbud, you've had no like punch-ups where refs would lose control.
Not full on. I thought we might get to that at one point in the first half. It's cooled off for a lot.
But it's a credit to the referee for controlling those situations.
Yeah.
Because just when you was away checking out the Molten brand in the toilet, basically what happened was there was a decision on the edge of the box that was given, a foul. As soon as the whistle was blown, a Stansfeld player ran towards the action. What happened? Referee straight away gets the hand up, not physically touching him, but get back. I'm dealing with this, and that's what you need. Yeah. And that's what he's been like today. And if you look at his movement as well, he's 10-15 yards away from the ball there. He's not interfering in the play. He's not blocking anything.
No. He's there or thereabouts. Let's give a bit of love to the referee's name is Peter Agbula. It's written on the board in front of me. Peter Agbula. Well done, Peter. I think you've done a great job this afternoon. And big shout out to his assistants, Alison Wade and Matt Williams. I think, as a collective, as we've said, difficult game. 1 minute of regular time plus any added time to go, listeners. It is fully dark now, floodlights illuminating the pitch. It's been pretty uneventful in truth. The second half has been a lot less dramatic than that first half, apart from the goal that I missed. The lady lineswoman has raised her flag. Someone said something to her. Deep into injury time. Someone's had something to say. Sworn at her. The four's not happy. Macy Mallion. I didn't hear anything there, Mike, did you?
The four just said that he said there's 2 minutes left, no one swore at you. I'll be honest with you, I've not heard anything, but again...
I'd leave that alone at this stage of the game.
But I'm not saying anyone's a liar or anyone's whatever, but something's going on.
He's having very late in the game to be having this kind of conversation, but there we are. Yeah, they're quite quick on the online. It's quite a crucial part of the game at this level, because, I mean, if you're interested to find these teams and follow them, listeners, we said at the start of today's show, you do form a kind of bond, an interest, whatever you want to call it. There's the final whistle, as you'd have gathered. But keeping the online side of it is quite a big part of the show, if you want.
Yeah. And the thing is as well, to give them credit here as well, not normally other non-league grounds do you get live half-time results.
No, this feels like a proper football club, listeners.
Yeah.
As you and I, as Millwall fans or whatever, maybe the non-Millwall fans listen to this show, I don't know, but it's been a football experience as you would understand it, if that makes any kind of sense. So there is full time, 4-2 to Erith Town.
Here we are as well, as we said, Monday the 2nd of January. SCEFL's already updated all of their
results there.
So you can't knock them.
Good win for Erith Town.
115 here today.
115, deserved win. Enjoyable afternoon. 115 of us here. Michael and I are going to go for a beer.
Achtung, Millwall.